Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. We are live, ATL 3-Style Live Podcast. We are back. What's going on? Happy New Year, everybody, man. 2026, man. Hopefully we have a happy 2026, man. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it and brought it in safely. But we are here to talk some Atlanta sports tonight. Before I get in any further, let's kick it over to the co-host, man. Let's kick it over to my boy out there on the East, man. My man, Derek. What's going on?
What's going on, Leo G? What's going on, baby Banks? It is a new year, and boy, let me tell you, it's coming out swinging on 2026 already.
Yeah, got a lot of stuff going on, man. Banks, what's going on over there on the south side, brother? What's going on?
What's
I don't know. We might be having some audio issues, Banks. We heard you, and then you kind of cut out there, man.
You hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you now. We hear you not loud and clear now, my brother. What's going on with you? Happy New Year, sir.
Oh, Happy New Year to you, sir, Leo. Happy New Year to you, Derrico. I was basically trying to say that you stole my thunder about this whole 2026 coming in hot, baby. It's coming in hot.
That it is.
got a lot going on in 2026, man. Obviously, today, man, we're gonna focus the show on one thing and one thing only, man, because it's just a lot to digest and a lot to discuss as we do this live, man, on YouTube and Facebook. We welcome everybody to interact with us as we talk tonight. This is gonna be devoted all to that team up there in Flowery Branch that play down there on Northside Drive, the Atlanta Falcons. There's a lot going on to talk about with them tonight. Before we get up any further off into the show, Derrico, let everybody know about our man out there on the east side, man, and how they can pick up something, man. Christmas just passed, man, but he's still doing work out there on the east side.
Yeah, y'all hit our boy up, Phil out there with Eastland Woodworking Company. It's a new year, so I'm sure you're gonna have some new products. Y'all make sure y'all hit him up, and he will take care of y'all. He will etch and sketch on some wood. I can tell you that for sure. One time with my boy Phil over here on my side of town, on the east side.
Yeah, man, out there on that east side, man. Listen, it has been one heck of a football season, man. Ups and downs, man. We always talk about this, man. Being an Atlanta Falcons fan is not for the faint of heart. And man, this has been a season. It felt like two seasons, fellas, in one. Just all the stuff that happened, man, from the beginning all the way to the end, man. So, once again, I want to, shout you all out, man. Shout Derrico out, man. Falcon Earth players. Even though it was crazy from time to time up there, man. Y'all still did y'all thing up there, man. Successful tailgates throughout the whole entire season. Monday night games. We put it down, man, and had a good time up there, man. So, fellas, congrats. Hey, we made it through another Falcons football season. We made it through another season, fellas.
Absolutely. And I want to say shout out to them Atlanta Falcon players up there on Northside Drive. Appreciate y'all for having another successful year. And we can't wait to fire it back up in September.
Absolutely, man. It's going down back in September. Speaking of which, before we get and start talking about what happened this season, I'm glad you brought that up, Derrico, man. We already know our schedule for 2026. Obviously, we talked about this in the previous podcast. We are going to have an international home game, so that's going to be something to look forward to here coming up pretty soon. Banks, we have our opponents home and away. Obviously, we know we're going to be playing the NFC South. We're going to be playing, of course, Carolina, the Aints, and the Yuccaneers twice, once at home and once away. But we're also going to be playing the NFC North. We got the Bears coming in. We got the Lions, and we're going to play the Packers and the Vikings away. We're also going to host the Kansas City Chiefs, the San Francisco 49ers, the Bengals, and the Ravens will come to town. We'll go up to Washington, play the Commanders. Got the Steelers, the Browns, to round out the schedule. Banks, the too early excitement of the 2026 schedule, man. Any games that you're going to be excited for or looking forward to in 2026?
Wow. It's a gauntlet. I can't say a particular game that I'm looking forward to. I guess the first one, whatever that first game is, that's what I'm looking forward to. Um, but yeah, when you called out those particular teams, man, that ain't for the faint of heart. You know what I'm saying? But hey, we gotta play what's in front of us and then see what pans out, what shakes.
Absolutely, man. Line them up and let's go and let's do our thing. Listen, fellas, let's talk a little bit about the last two games because obviously we were not here for the last two games. We'll talk about the first one. That was the Monday Night Football game against the LA Rams, man. That was a pretty fun game on Monday night. Derek, I know we had a fun time up there with the Falconers. The Falcons didn't disappoint by being that team we didn't know who was going to show up, right? We ended up beating the LA Rams, and it was like, what's going on? I mean, we had a time with some of those teams that weren't so good, but when we played playoff teams or potential Super Bowl teams, man, the Falcons showed up and they played Monday night against the Rams. Man, Derek, your thoughts on that game, and then we'll talk about this game on this past Sunday.
Oh, my bad. I was reading one of the comments. So shout out to our girl DJ Rowe out there listening to us live. She said she already interviewed him for the head coaching position. So she just wanted us to know that, just in case she do get that head coaching position, we're gonna have first dibs on all access. Appreciate it, A Rowe. But as far as that Rams game, it's always a crapshoot when it comes to our team, like you said, performing for top tier teams as far as them performing against lower tier teams. But one thing I can always say, whenever they put on them throwbacks, baby, there's something about them throwbacks that they always show up, and especially on Monday night. We used to be sorry on Monday night, but something just done broke loose. So right now we're in a good mood as far as primetime games, and I just want us to keep it up. But we didn't need that energy throughout the season. But hey, we'll see how that rolls because we'll talk about it later.
Absolutely, man. It was a fun game too, by the way, that Monday night game, man. Crowd kind of came out and was alive and like, start to finish, typical Falcons game. They will not let us be great and go home or go back to the tailgate and celebrate early. Banks, your thoughts before we talk about the game on this past Sunday, Monday night against the Rams.
Well, it was pretty much a game where a lot of people was kind of like bummed out since the Falcons was already out of playoff contentions. But it was a Monday night game on national TV, looking good in your throwback threads. So might as well make the best of it. And then on to boot, you had a pretty nice night from the team. I must say. Shout out Bijan Robinson, number 7. Who had that stadium rocking. Like you said, I would love to see that every week, instead of just, a game here and a game there. But, that feeling in that game Monday night, man, sign me up. If we're going to have more of those, I'm ready for it.
Man, absolutely, man. A lot of fun on Monday night. It's always, all the Falcons games are fun. I think, fellas, we talked about this on this past Sunday, man. We have fun. That's what we do, man. We love this team and going to the games. They are, obviously winning is everything. We want to win, man, but we go out and we have a great time, especially up there with the Falconers players. It's always fun, man. And we do our halftime thing, man. It's a lot of fun, man. If you ever join us up there by section 217, man, it's always fun. So listen, fellas, let's talk about it. So listen, we cannot let this pass. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to get into it here in just a second. But we got to talk about this here. Listen, if we don't talk about anything else, let me tell you something. The season was a wash. But if we don't talk about anything else, the season was a wash. But what? Banks?
We swept them Aints.
Derek, we did what?
We pulled out the broom, baby. And it's been a minute since we had the opportunity to bring out that broom and sweep them ain't out of the bins on Sunday at 1 o'clock when we got done by 4. They was walking around with their heads down, knowing that they was the bottom of the NFC South, which was not saying a lot, but it was saying a lot because they at the bottom.
And let me say this before you go on, Leo. And this is for certain, Falcon haters out there and some Aints fans out there who felt like this game didn't matter to you, or you felt like, it can live or die with it. Listen here, before that game even kicked off, okay, Saint fans was in the building and they were talking mad crap and they wanted that game. Okay. Let's make no mistake about it. If New Orleans won that game Sunday, they would not let it down. Okay. I've been around Saints fans, excuse me, I'm sorry, Aints fans that know good enough to know that when they beat us, it's a celebration for them. So sorry, I'm no making no apologies for it. We beat y'all. We swept you. See you next year.
Yeah, they want to try to make it, well, it was for nothing. I mean, yeah, no. Like Banks said, man, y'all got swept. We beat y'all. You know what I'm saying? The record still stands. We still up on y'all, and we'll do it. We'll do this dance again in 2026. But as it stands, we are undefeated in 2026 as of right now, and we got the last one up on them. I don't know what happened to Derrick, man. Maybe Derrick had to go to the bathroom with some Banks. We're gonna keep it rolling. We're gonna keep it rolling, man. So listen, we finished the season 8-9. After the game here, we after the win, we were all hyped. We were all, just basking in of course, obviously sweeping the Aints. All the other crap about who was going to the playoffs, who won the division. It really didn't matter. We had beaten the Aints. And then, fellas, I think we go home Sunday night, and then all of a sudden, I don't know about you all, but I'm sitting, I'm chilling, I'm like I said, still basking. And next thing I know, my phone it starts to go haywire. I was like, oh my God, did somebody die? What happened? And we get the news, obviously, fellas, and that's what we're here to talk about today, Derrico, is Raheem Morris, the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, had been terminated. And also Terry Fontenot was terminated as well on Sunday night. Derrico, a tad bit in the feelings on Sunday night. Describe to me, Derrico, as you first started to hear the rumblings that Raheem had been fired, because initially you said that this was not done tactfully. So how did you feel initially on Sunday night when we got that news after sweeping the Aints?
Well, the first thing I did was I was fact checking people that was texting me saying XYZ because I ain't got no alert. So I was like, nah, AB wouldn't do that. Not like that. No, not our beloved owner. AB wouldn't do this 3 or 4 hours after the game. No, never, ever would he do that. But sure enough, when it came across, I was like, yeah. So all my little celebration mode went into what the blankety biggity blank just happened. But hey, it is what it is. I slept it off. Woke up Monday when I was gonna expect to get any type of news. It would be Monday. And I thought I had a good night sleeping on that sweet of the Aints. But hey, lo and behold, AB said not today. He want to go ahead and clean out, and he started cleaning early. I mean early, like he wanted to jump on the news headlines, and he absolutely did.
So yeah, Derrico, man, like you said, man, this is not typical of the Atlanta Falcons fashion and how they usually do things in the organization. Usually, like you said, they call it Black Monday for a reason. A lot of times, Monday mornings when we start getting the word and getting the news about head coaches and GMs or whoever that are going to get terminated. I mean, obviously, there were some people that were already terminated during the course of the season, but Black Monday is usually when you get the rest of them that go ahead and they give them their pink slips or whatever you want to call it. Banks, I'm gonna hand this over to you here, man. We talked about this a little bit at halftime of the Aints game. And we talked kind of through the course of the season. I mean, there was some ebbs and flows to the season, obviously a 5-game losing streak, and then at the end, there was a 4-game winning streak. We were kind of 50-50, kind of tossed up like, okay, you know what, Raheem might still keep his job depending on the outcome of that game on Sunday. Obviously, they won, but this went the other way. They ended up firing Raheem. Did you see this coming? I mean, like I said, it was 50-50, but Sunday night, did you feel as it was going to come as early as Sunday night, man, with Raheem and Terry being fired?
No, I didn't think it was going to be that soon. I mean, I remember showing you guys that off my phone about Fontenot, and it was kind of like, well, who's your source? And it's like, well, it could happen, but it may not happen. And I think we kind of like assumed that Raheem was safe because of the winning streak. But I mean, for what I understand, guys, this decision was made weeks ago. So if that's the case, then I mean, this 4 games was just who cares, you know? Kudos to you, Mr. Blank. I guess you tired of it as we are. You was like, we're going to make this happen. Do not go home. Do not collect $200. Do not pass go. Go straight out of your office, and we're doing this tonight. And wow, you know, and for me, you know, I'm, you know, I'm not happy, you know, or I'm not upset either. But at the same time, it's like if you're not doing the job, you gotta answer. You gotta answer for what you're not doing. And I'm sorry, it just had to happen. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I'm just more shocked that it happened so soon and so fast and so out of nowhere. You know, I'm thinking like Derico, it should have been like on Monday. We wake up Monday morning, and here comes the breaking news. You know, no, this was before we can even put our pajamas on. So yeah, this was crazy.
I mean, yeah, it wasn't in typical Falcons fashion. Obviously, I don't know if we're seeing, and we'll talk a little bit about more of what's going on with the structure of this team and how this is going to all pan out moving forward into the season going into 2026. But Derek Cole, this screams of, you know, I don't know, a real hard reset and something like going back to what Banks was saying. If this is the case, and this was, weeks ago, that Arthur Blank and his brain trusts were like, you know what, this is over one way of this is over. We're just gonna see this thing all the way out. Derico, do you feel like now that this organization, I don't want to say desperation, but it's now like, hey, look, we're not playing anymore. We're not, the experiments are over. We have to figure out how to get this right. Because like I said, this was not typical of this organization. Usually they give people grace and, oh, we're going to work it out. We're going to do this, that, and the third. But these guys said, you know what? Hey, man, let's go. Let's ride.
Hey, as you can see, I just posted an 8-year-old comment. He said it probably happened like that because the consulting group was charging about an hour. So they were like, ain't no use of holding on till tomorrow. We can save about 3 grand.
That was funny, A-Roll. That was hilarious, bro.
Absolutely.
That was hilarious.
Hey, man,
So, hey,
listen. Like, yeah.
so I ain't mad at it. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, and also trying to save some tip money, do what you got to do. So I'm sorry. She just made me lose track of what you just asked me. So I'm gonna go ahead and be real. That's what happens when you get north of 50, guys. You can't sometimes hold the information like you used to. What did you just ask me?
No, just saying, typical, this was not typical for Falcons fashion
Oh
where,
no,
we drag this thing out and see it all, cross all the T's, dot all the I's, kiss all the babies, do all the things. Let me cook you breakfast. Let me see how you feeling. This was straight cutthroat to the point, man.
Hey,
like I said, this is a new day, I guess, in Flowery Branch.
hey, they were just like it reminded me of one of my prom dates one night. Something happened right, and they got left. You know what I'm saying, at the altar, basically. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like Arthur said, "Hey, you want putting out, so you got to go right now. Ain't no waiting till tomorrow. Catch your own ride to the house, everything. I mean, a hard reset." And I just thought about this too when we talk about the consulting group. I think when they were saying, "Okay, Arthur, you got a whole new rebranding that's probably about to happen that we don't know about. You got new uniforms that's coming in 2026. I'm assuming."
Allegedly.
So he was like, "Yeah." So he's like, "Okay, we just gonna just start from scratch, like you said, hit a hard reset, and we're gonna start this thing over, and let's go do what we got to do, and let's not even play this no more."
Man, crazy. So let's for fellas, let's go backwards a little bit and then we'll talk future. Banks, I want to talk to you specifically here, and then we're gonna talk to Derek. Obviously, he'll give us his thoughts, but I want to give you this one here. Terry Fontenot, he was fired. A lot of people thought he did a good job, but now he's gone. So, Banks, your thoughts on where this went wrong? I mean, I know for a fact there were a lot of things that Terry did well, but obviously the wrongs outweighed the good. So, in your opinion, where did Terry lose his job along the way in his tenure here as the Falcons GM?
You really trying to make me the bad guy in this one because you already know what I'm about to say. It started 5 years ago when you drafted that that individual at University of Florida, Mr. Unicorn Man himself at number 4. But I'm not gonna I'm gonna squash it. I'm gonna squash it, but I still ain't got over it yet. Yes, Mr. Fontenot, you have to answer to that. We would never see another team draft a freaking tight end in the top 5. Like, I don't think that's gonna ever happen again. Thank you. Falcons did another first time ever moment, so yeah, that was one of them. That was the beginning. But hey, he redeemed himself in between times, bringing some good players here and there. But I think the coup de grace of all is probably the Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins debacle. Listen, it had to either work and make you look like a genius, or it's gonna fail and you look like an idiot. And unfortunately, it failed. And I don't know what to say, because when it happened in real time, I was like, I was a loss of words. I didn't know what was the plan, what we were trying to do with this. You have this old quarterback coming from Minnesota who's coming off an injury, and you pay him all that money only to draft another quarterback in the same offseason with another injury history. And I'm thinking, well, maybe, they know something that we don't. They're more smarter than we are. No, it happened exactly how a lot of folks mapped it out. You have a broke down quarterback backed up with another broke down quarterback. So it didn't work. Neither one of them worked. I'm sorry, Mr. Fart. No, you got to answer to that. You got to wear it. You got to wear it, brother. And unfortunately, I think that's what did him in.
I mean, yeah, they had us all thinking, draft night, Terry out there explaining to AB how that all worked out, man. For a minute there, they had me really delusional, thinking that, man, yeah, they got this all worked out. They had this mapped out. They had this, brilliant, like you said, Banks, this brilliant plan as to how they were going. Because we all know, we've talked about this on previous podcasts, is that, hey, the quarterback position is something that we had to get right. We went through these stopgap quarterbacks when Arthur Smith was here, the Marcus Mariotas, the Desmond Ritters, the Taylor Heinekes. I mean, and it just did not work. We had to figure out a way to get that quarterback position together. And I think the question was presented to Terry and both Raheem is, how do we do this? And I don't know who's out there. It seemed like they were just sitting in the office and somebody was like, yeah, man, what if we just get Kurt and then we draft his successor in the same season? And somebody was like, yeah, that might work. And it was just one of those, kind of Scooby-Doo scheme scenarios. I don't know what happened, but I'm not gonna lie, I kind of bought into it. And then, like you said, half of my brain was like, that is stupid. And then my other half was like, man, maybe they know what they're talking about. But we saw the ending to this. Derek Cole, I'm passing it over to you now. Where was Raheem's demise in all of this? Banks just alluded to what may have been Terry's demise 5 years ago when we drafted Kyle Pitts. But where did you see it going off the rails with Raheem and it coming to an end with him?
Mostly it's going to start with his offensive coordinator and his defensive coordinator choices off the rip. I mean, period. I mean, your team is only as good as, like y'all saying, your quarterback, your offensive coordinator, and your defensive coordinator. So when he came out the gate with the dude from Washington, I'm sure all of us was like, huh? What? I was on the Zach Robinson Kool-Aid based on the history of what I've seen, McVay do out there with the Rams. So I was like, well, hey, he probably don't learn something over there. Apparently he ain't learned jack that can be consistent. You know what I'm saying? And if the rumors are true, Raheem, if they ask you to fire that dude and you refuse, you can go right now to the bar with him and y'all both can sit there and look at each other and say, where did we go wrong? How did this happen? You know exactly how it happened. Y'all was neck and neck, hand in hand, locking together, and that was the start of Raheem's demise. Period.
Man, listen, not just obviously the defense coordinator and Jimmy Lake, and then with Zach Robinson, the special team coordinator as well, which was brought to my attention that he was held over from Arthur Smith regime. And the special teams, we always look at the defense, we always look at the offense, man. But this year, the special teams happen to be just a glaring, just bad, just
the worst in the
Worst
NFL. 33rd.
that I had ever seen in my life. I mean, it was crazy. It all started, I guess, with, of course, obviously the debacle of we need a kicker. Like literally, when it was almost like Kicker Watch 2025. Young Way Cool obviously lost his way sometime last season, and then he brought that into this season. We finally they decided to let him go. They couldn't let anybody else go, but they let Young Way Cool go. And then it was a kicker watch from week to week. We brought in guys to compete like it was still camp, right, Banks? We had kicking competitions going all the way up until I want to say like week 6 of the season, until finally Zane Gonzalez was able to secure the job. Absolutely crazy. So when you think about all the things that happened to throw this thing off the rails, man, it was like this whole thing was set up to fail. Like seriously, man. From the moment, like you said, Banks, I guess Terry drafted Kyle Pitts, and then Raheem sticking to his guns with the coordinators, and finally letting go of Jimmy Lake after his first season and bringing in Jeff Ulbrich. Obviously, the defense kind of did a whole 360. And they turned it around and they were able to get it together. But offensively, man, we just could not get it together, man. We welcome everybody that's watching us live, man. Feel free to jump in, man. Ask questions, comments. We're talking about the Atlanta Falcons and the state of the franchise right now. We're doing a little walk back and talking about how we got to this point with Terry Fontenot and Raheem being fired. So, Banks, I'm going to swing it over to you here, man. And let's talk about the team in general before we start talking about the future. There were some bright spots this year, obviously, along the way. One of the biggest bright spots was the pass rush, and we've talked about this on previous podcasts. It was very refreshing to see this podcast come alive, man. We hadn't had a double-digit sack person here since Vic Beasley, and it seems like that was decades ago, but it wasn't too far away. James Pierce Jr. comes in. Hold on, Banks. Derrico bumped them picks. Traded back into the first round and got James Pierce. If anything Terry did, I would say that was probably, I think the kiss on his way out to say, hey, guys, you guys are in good hands with the pass rush, and you guys have James Pierce Jr. Obviously, that was one of the bright points of the season this year. That young man did his thing, and I see him doing it for years to come in the Falcons uniform, right?
Well, I think it was the fact that I believe since Banks brought it up, I don't believe that was Fontenot's pick, that number 4 pick for that unicorn guy. I think last year was really the first year that Terry Fontenot had a draft that he didn't have to go and ask nobody, could he draft somebody? And I just feel like based on the players that he drafted, he didn't go nowhere near Montana State. He didn't go nowhere near South Dakota State. He didn't go nowhere near where's another one that they used to draft from? He didn't go nowhere
Idaho,
near those schools.
Villanova, Furman.
He went straight for the jugular and went for Power 5 teams. You know what I'm saying? He went to UGA, Clemson. He did go over there to Washington, Alabama. I'm just telling you. That's what he decided. And that let me know that he was basically in charge of that draft. And I hate to say this, all the people that wanted him going out of town, I think he's going to go back across the street when that other dude get fired and watch what happens. I'm just putting it out there right now.
It is what it is. Banks, your thoughts on, man, some of the brighter points this year, man. Like I said, specifically with James Pierce Jr., the defense kind of turning the page because we had been clamoring for a pass rush in the let me get this right. Most sacks in franchise history this year. With this, and it's like we can't have nothing to go together, right? We couldn't, it's the analogy, peanut butter, no jelly. You know what I'm saying? Kool-Aid, no sugar. Like, we got this pass rush that we've been screaming at the top of our lungs for and just couldn't do nothing else with it from a standpoint of winning games and getting us into the postseason.
I feel like that was the story of the Falcons. It's been like that all my life. We never had the luxury of both. We never could sit back and say the offense going to do their thing and then the defense going to hold. Something's got to fail, So, but as for the defense coming off, shout out to Ulbrich for, doing what he's doing. But I mean, it's more than Ulbrich. We had a defensive line coach that I'm hoping we keep. I think he really made a difference in these guys, not just James Pierce and Jalen Walker, but Ruka Rororo, Brandon Dorless, His first name escapes me, but the other London, on that line, listen, they did their thing, and it was a breath of fresh air to sit there and watch them get after the quarterback and get home, and that's something that we was like pulling our hair out about. We'll get back there, but we can't finish the deal. We the best team for almost getting there, but we got there. And James Pierce Jr., listen, this man got 10.5 sacks, and this is basically just what his off this pure skill. This he ain't put on no weight yet. He ain't really got his legs under him yet. This man gonna be special for us. Shout out to James Pierce Jr., number 27. Listen here, we gonna remember that name, and the rest of the league gonna know his name too. Jalen Walker, shout out to you, number 11. Um, they doing their thing, man. And I can't forget about not just defensive line, but Watts. He's
At the
out there.
back end, man. Back end, man.
Listen, number 31. I sit there watching the game. My mom was like, "Who is that guy?" I said, "The dude from Notre Dame. He is nice." I said, "Absolutely." And we got him, and he's only gonna get better. So shout out to the defense. I think there's a huge light at the end of that tunnel, fellas, that we can really say we might have something here defensively. Offense is a whole nother story, but defense, I feel very, very comfortable going forward in the future.
Can I
Now, obviously,
piggyback
yeah.
on? Can I piggyback on something? Ollie, that's his name, Nate Ollie, the defensive line coach. That's probably the only coach on this staff that I want them to try to retain. That's it. Everybody else can
He's the
take
only one that
fight.
I want to stay. I
Everybody else
definitely
can
like
fight.
Ali for that group.
Yeah, yeah.
He came in with the same mentality, and it shows through on the field. And I'm not taking nothing away from Olbrich. I appreciate what he's doing. I don't think he's going to stay, but stranger things has happened. But Ali, I really, really hope he somehow, some way, is still with them guys and helping them develop.
Man, obviously, yes, man. If he comes back, that would be cool, but we just have to see how this all shakes out. So, listen, fellas, we talked about the past here. Obviously, not too much to talk about offensively, I guess, but we'll get into that here in just a minute. We'll talk about that as we talk about the future here. So, let's start to talk about the future, guys. Raheem Terry out. Now we have to figure out who's coming in to see us through into going into 2026. There have been a lot just as soon as Terry and Raheem were fired. There's been a lot of news, a lot of stuff coming down the pipe. Obviously, if you're on social media, obviously, if you're in a lot of the fan groups, it was just a uptick of information. And of course, obviously, Sports Talk Radio and even the national heads started talking about these different things that we've heard. So here we go, Derrico. One of the big things is now we've had a shift in the front office of the operations for the Atlanta Falcons. And this is a soft spot for a lot of people that are Falcons fans. Obviously, this man has been with the franchise for a long time, I guess 2 decades. Rich McKay, a lot of people have said that this has been the downfall of the Falcons. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole and start talking about this, that, and the third, but we know that Rich McKay has had a lot to do with a lot of the decisions made with this organization. Shakeup happened on Monday. A letter was sent out to all the fans that Rich McKay would be no longer a part of the everyday football operations, that Greg Beadle has now been promoted to the CEO of the Atlanta Falcons. He was president, now he's president and CEO of the Atlanta Falcons. I'm sorry, Banks.
Second time we have heard that, but go ahead, proceed.
Okay. So Greg Beadle has now been moved over into that shift. So now fast forward, there have been other rumors that have come out that they are now looking to have just a president of football operations. And now this is where it kind of gets a little thick. Rumor has it that a famous Falcon will now possibly be in that seat, and we could know as early as this Thursday who that will be. Who that person is, none other than number 2, Mr. Matt Ryan, will be coming back and assuming that position as the president of football operations for the Falcons. I'm gonna give it over to you here, Derrico, first. So we have obviously started the GM search and the head coaching search, but I want your thoughts on now, because there's a lot of mixed feelings, a lot of mixed emotions amongst the fans about if this were to happen, how is this going to work? And is this going to be the right thing for the Falcons moving forward? So Matt Ryan possibly being the president of football operations and everything supposedly will go through him. So Derek, your thoughts on Matt Ryan coming back to join the organization in that capacity?
I mean, it's a good setup bringing him back. The only knock that I'm going to have on this appointment is if he retained that position at CBS. That's the only thing. If you're gonna be all in, you're gonna be all in with the organization. Because there's been rumors flying that he's still gonna keep the job at CBS. Then there's been some other rumors saying he wasn't gonna keep the job at CBS. So that's the thing that I need to be. The line need to be drawn in the sand right now as far as your commitment to being. If you the guy that everything runs up through, and that from what I'm hearing, head coach GM are going to report to Matt Ryan, and then Matt Ryan running up the flagpole to Beetle and or Arthur Blank if needed. Once again, I see we going back to a situation where there's a lot of nicks, there's a lot of bottlenecking going on. So I just hope that that's not going to be the case with all these different reporting structures this time. So I'm hoping that when Matt Ryan, if he is the guy that's going to come through to kind of shake this thing up, and see, we talked about that. Can I give a shout out to Josh Blank, who I think has a little sneaking hand in this stuff, in the background. So you know what? Shout out to Josh Blank for for listening, because I know he's had some ears, to the ground about what's going on in this franchise, and I think that he's been listening, and I think that's also part of the reason why these changes took place.
Hey,
Your
look, Banks,
future
I'm
owner.
gonna pass it over to you here, Banks. Obviously, in just a second, I wanted to kind of piggyback on something that Derek said. So the reports have now come out that obviously that Matt will probably assume this position full time and not try to juggle the CBS thing. That he's gonna possibly be all in, and I can see that. And I'm good with this. I really am. And I go back to this past offseason, guys. I don't know if you guys were able to see a video, and I think I shared with you and sent it to you. And the reason I'm good with this and bringing Matt back is because Matt gets it. Fellas, we always talk about people that need to understand this organization, understand this city, understand this fan base, just the pulse of it all. Listen, Matt Ryan is Atlanta. Like, this man lives here now. He was here for 12 years as a Falcon. He understands the ins and outs of everything about that organization. The speech he gave the team during camp was absolutely electrifying. He pretty much told the team, like, hey, this is what it takes. This is where we are. This is what you have to do. The division from the Panthers to the Aints to the Bucks, like, yo, this is it. And I think bringing somebody like that in that has that pulse of the city will really, really help in some regards. And like you said, Derek, but the bottlenecking is where it kind of is going to tell the tale as far as the communication and what's going to happen on that end. But as far as knowing what needs to happen and knowing this organization, I don't think it's anybody better than Matt Ryan to come in and do that. Banks, your thoughts on Matt Ryan coming in to be possibly the president of football operations for the Falcons?
I think that could be nothing, everything but positive. I can't see how, excuse me, how it could be a bad thing. I hear a lot of people saying that he's not experienced, but I mean, it was, so was the guy in Jacksonville. What was his name? Ted Berselli. I know I butchered his name, but they doing pretty well down there. So I mean, I think having someone that's close to the franchise in Matt Ryan, probably yeah, the greatest quarterback we ever had. Thank you very much. I will co-sign that. And if he's going to do that, I'm all for it. I'm definitely all for it. If that means that other guy who just left is no longer there, then yes, I am all for it. You know, I can't say nothing bad about it. So yes, absolutely. I am all for Matt Ryan being the president of football operations.
And just to say something, Banks, about experience, man, this man, he on the field. You know what I'm saying? We've seen players come in and do this in some capacity before. This is nothing new. We saw John Elway do it. We've seen John Lynch do it in some capacity with the 49ers. And you've had former players that have become GMs. Derek, I can't think of my guy that played tight end. He was the GM of the Ravens some years ago. So we've had former players come back and go into the front office and do great things. I'm sorry, Derek.
How you don't know Ozzie Newsome name? We're gonna have a chat
I'm
about this
sorry.
after the show.
My apologies. Ozzie Newsome. And we've seen guys in that capacity. So when you start talking about experience, their experience is being football players. They know football players. They know X's and O's. So I mean, yeah, we get caught up in a lot of these player personnel guys and scouts, assessing talent, but these guys played the game. So I feel like that's where the experience comes in. You played the game. So I think and like I said, having that pulse of this city, I think that Matt will do great there if it all works out. If it all the structure is how they say it's going to be, then this is going to all work out. So we should know this sometime as early as Thursday, whether or not Matt Ryan will be a part of this organization in the front office. So okay, fellas, here we go. A lot of people hit me up about this one, and I know we're going to have some fun with this one as we start to round this podcast out. Raheem Terry out, and now who do we bring in? Obviously, we have started to. I'm sorry, Deco.
It ain't but one name now, but go ahead.
Okay. So now let's start to talk about this, and let's start to see how this will all unfold and shake out. And we're going to go over to you here, Derek, go first. There have been a lot of names. And so before we so I know where we're going with this, fellas, but before we started this podcast, there was the word came down that obviously another coach had been let go. John Harbaugh of the Baltimore Ravens was just let go not too long ago. At 4 o'clock, John Harbaugh of the Baltimore Ravens was relieved of his duties as the head coach up there in Baltimore. So there were some other coaches that were let go obviously during the season. Pete Carroll, he was let go after a year with the Raiders. Obviously the head coach for Arizona was let go. The coach for the Giants, I want to say, and the Tennessee Titans, if I'm not mistaken.
He was let go in mid-season.
He was mid-season. The Giants head coach and the Tennessee Titans head coach were both let go during mid-season. So, okay, here we are. I'm giving it over to you here, Derek Cole. There have been some names already submitted for interviews here, but let's get to the meat of it. Let's talk about it here, man. Who do you guys feel, or who would you guys like to see as the next head coach of the Atlanta Falcons?
Like I said, it ain't but one name, and the dude just got let go from an organization that he was with for 18 years. Well, sometimes you just need a reset. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna take the old Andy Reid approach right here and say, you got to bring Harbaugh out here. I don't care where you take him. You can take him to the steakhouse. You can take him to the outhouse. You can take him to the foundation office. You can take him anywhere you want to, Blink. But you better not let him leave without a contract. Period. So anybody else that y'all talking about, no. If we say we want somebody that got head coaching experience, they got a Super Bowl, that know how to run a franchise, that is the only name that I want to hear that's available.
All right. Well, we had a whole thing lined up. I think Banks had a couple of candidates that we were about to interview, but let's kick it over to you. Be here, Banks. Let's get your opinions on who you want to see today.
I'm about to say the same thing. I mean, before this whole thing that went down in Baltimore, they had interviewed Stefanski and Kubiak from Seattle. I think a lot of people was like kind of like raising their eyebrows over Kubiak, since he was an offensive specialist and everything, and especially how he, I believe he was in Minnesota at one point, and he basically had that offense humming.
He was in New Orleans.
Yeah, you see, but wherever he goes, the offense is moving, and I think a lot of folks was clamoring over that fact that you could bring this guy in, what can he do for us, and not to mention, he was, I believe he was with Minnesota, and if I'm not mistaken, he had like maybe I'm wrong. I was about to say he had 5 different quarterbacks, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but he had a niche for offense. It is always the ones that you hate defending. So I think that was the popular vote until 4 o'clock this afternoon, and Baltimore did the unthinkable. Now everyone's like, Okay, Falcons, are you listening? Are you listening? But this is what I have to say about that, Leo, Jericho. Falcons ain't the only one that's looking at that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
everybody else who needs a coach saying the same exact thing. Joe Harbaugh is priority number one. So take a number. So he's not going to just come to Atlanta. He's going to everywhere. He's going to Vegas. He's going to Tennessee. He's going everywhere. And I think he's going to be probably the last coach to be picked. So if you got your patience, you might want to bring it, because this ain't gonna be no quick hire.
well,
Okay,
I mean,
so
yeah,
he's gonna be heavily sought, and I believe Harbaugh's gonna sit back and he's gonna think about it, where I want to be. So it ain't
yeah.
about, it's not a one-way street. This is a two-way street. He's got to want to be here. And I think, unfortunately for our situation, fellas, for us not having a quarterback, or stable quarterback, if you will, it's going to kind of put us near the back. So I don't know. I could be wrong, but it doesn't look like we're a slam dunk here. So
He's
Hey,
holding all
Banks.
the cards. He's holding all the cards.
Yeah.
I mean, he basically has to pick of the litter as to where he wants to go. And let's be real. I know some fans hit me up. Shout out to my boy Stokes, man. Shout out to my boy Dave. And I'm gonna let you go into it here in just a minute, Derek. Yeah, I would love to see Harbaugh here too. Obviously, yes, run, like Derek said. Kidnap the man, don't let him go until he signs a contract on the dotted line. But let's be real, man. We that like Banks just said, man, there are other teams that are going to court him and court him hard. And the decision is he holds all the cards. He is going to be the top candidate now of all the teams that look for a head coach moving forward. That's just it. So, like you said, Banks, what is going to make the Falcons stand out to him to want to come to this organization and be the head coach? What are the tangibles for him? What does he have here? What does he do? I mean, obviously, some of the other teams that we just talked about, it's going to take a while to build something. But if the thought is that the Falcons do have a base or a foundation to work with, this could be one of the top spots for coaches. But then, like you said again, Banks, the fact that quarterback position might be, well, it's not. It's too many question marks around that quarterback situation. We'll have to come back around to that at a later date. But Derrico, over to you about Harbaugh and the other teams that are out there that are also looking for coaches as well.
Well, looking at the teams, there's only one that really has a prospective better quarterback than anybody else available right now, and that's the Giants. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. I don't see that John Harbaugh want to go into that mess in Cleveland. I just don't see that. Arizona, I don't think he want to go into that mess over there either. So you know what I'm saying? They're kind of dwindling it down. Don't think he want to go to Tennessee either. Vegas
he
might be
might.
the only one that's really. Vegas
Well,
might be the most intriguing
yeah,
one.
Vegas might be. They got the number one pick. I
And they
mean,
got a
You know what I'm saying?
lot of money. They got a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
money in Vegas.
So that to me will probably be the biggest hurdle obstacle is Vegas having one the number one pick, two, like y'all say you got money, three is Vegas. I'm just you know what I'm saying? Don't know how that it influence him, but at the same time you still got a defunct organization over there. You know what I'm saying? At least I think he would know that our owner will give him all the necessary resources that he needs to be successful.
and not to
And I don't
mention he'll
know
get to play his brother twice a
right,
year. So,
right.
so
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that
Eh,
part.
let me ask you this, guys. And, like I said, we're about to wrap this thing up. Obviously, we have to come. It's a lot of different things. We have to do a part two to this to talk about. It's because we have to get into the personnel aspect of this, like Banks alluded to, especially with the quarterback position, because obviously that's very, very important. And there's a big question mark as to what's going to happen moving forward at the start of the season in 2026. What's up, Make Way Sports? What's up, Make Way Sports, man? Yeah, we definitely going to rise up here, hopefully in 2026, man. Listen, so I just want to hit at this, man. How collectively does everybody perceive this organization? Right. I mean, we just, we're back. We're back here. You know what I'm saying? Less than 6 years later, another coach. Still, the quarterback position is a question mark. But the question is, how do other coaches and how do other people look and perceive this organization? Derrico, you just said the Raiders are one of those organizations that you just don't know what you're getting into out there. Obviously, with Mark Davis out there, that's a 3-ring circus. in Vegas. I think, anybody that goes out there, they will have to pitch a great deal. Obviously, yeah, they got the number one pick. They got a lot of money, but if I'm Harbaugh, if I'm going out there, man, I got to have complete control. Y'all got to close the door and can't nobody come in here. Number one, if I go to the Raiders, I can't really speak. And it's a dog and pony show up in Cleveland as well. But your thoughts there, Banks? I'm gonna go to you first here, man. Is how is this organization perceived? I mean, there have been a lot of players that say that they love playing for Arthur Blank in this organization, but we all know that there are some things said behind closed doors. How do you think the perception about this organization is, and is this going to be the reputation of this organization? Do you think it's going to hinder or help in the process of us finding that right coach and GM?
Really can't say, Leo. I mean, I would hope that it's something positive to think about this organization. But so far, but what we've been doing, I mean, we've been doing a lot of dysfunctional things, and I hate to say it, but I mean, it's like our owner be doing some questionable things in the past. And I don't know what other people on the outside see and be like, oh, I don't want to touch that. That seems like there's too much going on over there. And I don't, I mean, you got to tell me something besides it's Atlanta and you got Bijan. I mean, I think a lot of people be like, okay, what else you got? You know, if you don't have, a something sturdy, at least at the quarterback position. And like you said, that's one of the quarterback, that's one of the topics we got to talk about later. you know it's like if you look back at afar, like what really do we have? And as an organizational feel, I just feel like it's kind of stale. And I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping somebody else be like, I can work with that. They got a young core in that defense. I can do something with that. I'm hoping that, I'm hoping, but I don't know. I have no idea.
Hey man, shout out to Makeway Sports, man. He believes that Blank wants to be a winner. Obviously, I think when he bought the organization, he wanted to be a winner, man. And this makes it the move from away from McKay proves that he's serious in this matter, man. So kick it over to you here, Derek, man, as well. Like, do you think the reputation from the outside looking in is going to hurt or help the Falcons when it comes to this search, man, and getting it right? Because let's be real, man. Derek, you and I talked about this briefly yesterday, man. But listen. The patience, if I don't have any patience, I know Arthur Blank ain't got no patience, man. You got to hit on this, man. I mean, you really, really do, man. It's been 8 years since we've been to the postseason, and we have this stadium that Banks says it every single Sunday. We have yet to see this thing rock off the hinges. And I know that we are yearning for that, man. So, Derek, is this the reputation? Is it going to hinder or is it going to help lure that next person in that's going to give us that trophy in the case?
I went back like it's a crapshoot because we don't know what the real perception is. Like I'll say this: I think bringing Matt back is going to bring some credibility to that, to stabilize that this organization is trying to win. You know what I'm saying? That he's just hard reset with everything, and he know that this is his last opportunity probably before maybe he go on to glory. So I feel like that's what should be the perception. Everybody know that Arthur Blank is top tier, like the organization top tier from top to bottom as far as how he treats everybody. You know what I'm saying? How folks come into the organization and can see that hospitality. So that's why people usually do come here. And I'll say this again, and I'll go back and say this about Fontenot. He brought some top tier free agents in here. You know what I'm saying? So those are the type things that lets me know that people want to come here and play, not just because before when I felt like we overpaid people to come here and play. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think people will actually want to come here and play, not only because of the city, because of Arthur Blank. And I just pray that they don't get blinded and try to overcompensate with bad choices and make another bad choice at the head coach position.
Obviously, a lot to see here, man. It will start on this Thursday with a press conference with Arthur Blank. Obviously, the media will probably grill him about a lot of these things that we're actually talking about as fans on this Thursday. So I will be tuned in for that press conference to see how this all shakes out, fellas. And obviously, we're going to have to revisit the personnel banks. We're going to have to visit the personnel side of this and talk about where we are moving forward, because there are going to be pieces that we're going to be moving away from, and then we're going to have pieces that we're going to have to bring in to fill some holes that we definitely need on this team. Fellas, hey, it's been all about Falcons tonight. We appreciate you guys watching us on Facebook Live and also on YouTube as well. There's some other things that we'll get a chance to talk about here on the next podcast, so you're going to want to tune in. A lot of stuff going on with the team over there at State Farm Arena with the Atlanta Hawks. Obviously, college football playoffs are still going on. Georgia was out. We'll get a chance to talk about that and how we feel about the climate of college football in general here on our next podcast. But obviously, we want to talk about the Atlanta Hawks and what's going on with that situation over there with Trae Young. So we'll get to that on the next podcast and also put a pin in it and come back around to the personnel aspect of the Atlanta Falcons. Banks, before we close this thing out, man, let everybody know where they can find you at, my brother.
Just want to make a shout out before I do Make Away Sports. That was a good point, sir. Yes, you bring in Harbaugh and everyone wants to play here. Absolutely. But that's the issue. You got to get them here. You got to figure out how we can get him here and he stays here, But again, you got other teams that's competing with you. So, I mean, it sounds good, but hey, let's hope for the best. But yes, you can find me at Antoine Jarrell Banks on Facebook right here. Or, see me around here with these two guys right here. Let's sit next to me, Derek and Leo. If you probably will see me right there next to him too, looking, the quiet one. Don't let them tell you no different. I'm the quiet one. I'm the one, who don't hardly say nothing. I'm the one in the shadows. Yeah. Y'all don't get quiet now. No, don't get quiet now, because I'm telling the truth.
And obviously the people will, the people know. But Derek Cole, let everybody know where they can find you at, my brother.
You can find me in Baltimore, because that's where I'm about to go. I'm about to go grab Jim Harbaugh myself and bring him back to the 8.
And bring Lamar with you.
Lamar ain't going nowhere.
Hey, listen, I'm about to call Mr. Magic in just a second, man, and tell him we got to set something up over there, man. if you bringing Jim tonight, we got to call Magic and see if he can set something up over there. Like I say, he can't. Like you say, he can't leave. If we get him here, he can't leave. Lock the doors.
Well, it ain't Magic City. You might need to see him to the Cheetah.
Hey, man, you don't know what that man like. Don't.
Hey. Don't put him on. Don't put it on him like that. Okay, we want to keep him. We want to keep him sane. I don't want him corrupted.
He's been in the DMV for 18 plus years now.
I know, man, for real. Y'all don't know that man. Like I'm about to hit Magic up in just a second, man. See if we can set something up, man. Listen, y'all can always catch us on all of our streaming platforms. You can catch us on Facebook Live. Also, you catch us on YouTube. You can also catch us on most social media platforms. That's ATL 3 Style Podcast, man. Listen, hit us up, man. We love to chat with you guys, talk more about sports, man. And listen, if you want to be a guest on the show, feel free to let us know, man. We'll definitely bring you on, man. So listen, this has been another edition of the ATL 3 Style Podcast. This time we were live, and we'll catch y'all on the next time.